Hey guys, Nandhini here. As requested by many of y'all, today we have come up with a video on checkmate patterns. Today is going to be part 1, and after this, we'll come up with more videos on this very topic because one or two videos are not enough. And after today's session, at the end of the video, I will be giving you all some exercises so you can solve them and put in your answers in the comment section below. Now, let's begin. So today's first checkmate pattern is rank checkmate, a very common checkmate pattern at beginner level. Now, what is a back rank checkmate? A back rank checkmate is when the king is checkmated on the back rank. For example, over here, the black king's on the last rank, on the back rank. And we have a checkmate in one move by playing the move rook e8, check the king, and that's a checkmate. The reason is simple. The king is blocked by his own pawns and the king cannot move in front and he is checkmated. Now, yes, as I am showing you all these examples, you all can solve the puzzles along with me and that's really going to be helpful for you all. So, okay, let's go on to the next example. Now, in this position, as you see, the white queen is attacked. Yes, the queen is in trouble. But we have a beautiful back rank checkmate coming right away. So if you observe the position, this rook, which is attacking the queen, is defended by just one piece. He has just one defender, while we have two attackers, the queen as well as the rook. This is a queen rook battery that we have. So in this position, we have a very nice way to checkmate black, and that is by sacrificing a queen for the rook. And after rook into queen, we have our rook swooping in with rook into d8 and again a back rank checkmate. Okay, let's go in with another example now. So over here, black is not having the regular three pawns as he always has. He has one empty spot there, but it makes it no different. We still have a back rank checkmate coming, but we got to make it happen this time. So the square I've marked, we can just take our queen all the way over there with queen f7 and force the king to go into the corner. And now as you see again, oh, I've already marked the move. As we see again, the king is blocked by his own pawns. He really cannot move further. He's stuck on the 8th rank. And we have the move queen f8, a very nice queen sacrifice. And after bishop into f8, our rook gets in again and we have a back rank checkmate. Okay, let me show you one more example, one last example of a back rank checkmate path. It's going to be a small variant. So yeah, unlike the usual positions which we had a look at, black is not having all the three pawns in a line. He has pushed one of his pawns, but this will still be called a back rank checkmate because we have a bishop very nicely controlling this g7 square, because of which his king really cannot get there. So again, the king is stuck on the 8th rank. So we have this very nice move rook c8, a check and a mate once again. If you are liking this video and you're finding it helpful, then please to give us a big thumbs up and do share this video with somebody who will also find this video helpful, and that's going to be of great help to us. Now it's time for the next checkmate pattern. Our second checkmate pattern for the day is the hookmate. What exactly is the hookmate? A hookmate is when you checkmate your opponent using your knight and rook in such a way, like for example here we have the move rook e8 and the king is checkmated on the e7 square. It's probably called the hook's mate because it looks like a hook. Not so sure. Okay, let's go on to the next example. So again over here we have a hookmate incoming. As we notice, the black king is poorly placed and has nowhere to go. So we can deliver some checks and we may get a checkmate. So here we have the very nice rook g7, and after bishop into g7, we give up the rook, and after rook g7, he has to play rook g6 because we know that the king had nowhere to go, and after rook into g6, again, the king is checkmated in the very same manner. One more example, and this example is really nice because this is actually happened in one of the topmost games. White was Ian Nepomniachtchi. I'm not that great with pronunciations, but I hope I was right. In short, he's also known as Nepo and one of the topmost players right now in the world. And this happened in his game. So he got this, and yeah, here the winning line is queen into c8, sacrifice the queen, and after king into c8, we have rook e8, and it's a checkmate wherever the king goes. If the king goes to d7, again, a hook's mate with rook d8, and the same with king b7 because rook b8 would be a checkmate. Okay, so we are done with the hook's mate, and now it's time for mate number 3, and that is the Anastasia's mate. So what is the Anastasia's mate? Again, this is a checkmate with a rook and a knight, but slightly different. It does not look like a hook. So in this position, we have the knight here, a very well placed knight in fact, because he does not really allow the black king to move to the g file. And here we have a checkmate in one move, and that is rook h5, and this is known as the Anastasia's mate. So this is the formation of the rook and the knight. Let's have a look at another example. So here we have to make it happen. We have to create it. So we know the knight goes in here to the square. So we can go knight e7 check. And after king h8, well, I think you will know what to do over here because we have seen this exact position in the previous example, and after rook into, king into, there is rook h5, and we got the exact same position. I've just shown you the method of reaching there. We'll probably go to some other example now. And here, something very similar, but this time we have a queen on the board. So again, here white to play and win and have the Anastasia's mate. So white can just play queen into h7, sacrifice the queen for the pawn, and after king into h7, you have rook h5, and again, white has given Anastasia to black. Okay, one more last example, this very topic. And we have more pieces on the board this time to make it more practical. And black to play and Anastasia white. So over here, black has this move again, knight e2, because we know that is the square for the knight in this checkmate. And after king h1, again, we have a queen sacrifice with queen into h2. And after king into h2, rook h6 and Anastasia's mate once again. Next checkmate pattern is called the blind swine mate. I literally had no idea it was called this before I made this video, but I did know the checkmate pattern. In fact, I did get this in a game of mine and I was really happy about it. So what is a blind swine mate? It's basically when you make use of your rooks and they're on the 7th rank. It could be from white side or black side. Here we are playing the white pieces. So we have rook into g7 and king h8 is forced, rook into h7, king g8, and then we get our other rook, place it on g7, and we have a checkmate. So basically it's a checkmate with 2 rooks. And let's see another example of this very mate. So this is another example, and here you got to make it happen. It's not directly there. I'm showing you a bit tougher positions because you have to understand how do we reach the final position. It's very important. So here we know that we need to have both the rooks on the 7th rank. Now, how do we make it happen? First, we can gain a tempo with rook g7, check, force the king to the corner of the board, and then get in our other rook to the 7th rank. See how beautiful our rooks are on the 7th rank. And this is the reason why rook on the 7th rank is considered such an asset. So after rook c7, well, we have a checkmate in 2, and black can't really stop it. He may try to put in the knight. Well, you can just capture it. It does not really matter. Now, what is the checkmate threat? It's the same checkmate threat as we saw in the previous example. Now, it does not matter what black plays. We have a checkmate coming. So let's just say that he just captures our pawn. He does not see it. And let's go forward. We have rook h7 check and king g8, and our other rook swoops in with rook g7, and we have a checkmate once again. Okay, now another example, and this is from a game, and white was Ivanchuk Vasily and black was Levin Aronian. Such a high class game, and they actually got this blind swine mate. So white to play and win this one. So Ivanchuk got the move rook into f7 over here. And it looks like, wait, am I just giving up a free rook? But no. If black captures rook into, you have rook b8. And this is a checkmate. So he can't really capture it. This would not be the blind swine mate, but it's a checkmate. So, okay, after rook into f7, the threat is a blind swine mate, and that is rook g7, king h8, rook check, and get the other rook here. Well, anyway, let's just go through it. Here, Aronian played the move f3 check, trying to get some counterplay, hoping for white to play pawn into and, get some discovered check after knight into, but let's not get deep into it. Here, Ivanchuk played a very simple move, and that is king h3. King goes to the corner, and there are no more checks coming on the board, and white is already winning, or let's just say he's won this game, because whatever black does here, the game is lost. Let's just say he moves a rook away. White has rook g7. You always go in with a tempo, check with a tempo. And after king h8, rook into h7 check, and again, this is a checkmate because our knight beautifully controls this square, so the king cannot escape. So yeah, this is the blind swine mate. Now it's time for the next checkmate. Our next checkmate pattern is the smothered mate. I'm very sure a lot of y'all are already aware of this one, just like the back rank checkmate. So smothered mate is when the king is blocked by his own pieces and he has nowhere to go. So we deliver a checkmate with the knight and knight f7. That's it, checkmate. This is a smothered mate. Let's have a look at a couple of more examples. So one more example. Now here we have more pieces on the board. We have to make it happen. How do we do it? We have queen into h7. Sacrifice the queen. The king can't capture because our queen is defended by a knight. So he's basically forced to play queen into h7. And again, we have a smothered mate with knight f7. Now, let me show you one very common way of getting the smothered mate. It happens in a lot of games as well as a lot of puzzles you will be solving in a lot of puzzle books too. So, how do you make the smothered mate happen here? Well, a lot of y'all may think, oh, wait, does white just have a checkmate in 2 moves with queen g8 check? Well, the answer is no. This does not work because black can simply capture the king and there is no checkmate. But yes, it would have worked if he captured with the rook because there's a checkmate there. Or if he captured with the knight because again we have a checkmate. But king into just takes away everything. So queen g8 is a wrong move if that is a move you guessed. You have to make it happen. How do you do it? We have knight f7 check for starters. Ask the king to get to g8. Have the queen and the king in one line. So we'll have a nice discovered check. Choose a nice square for the knight. So knight h6. Now why is this a good square for the knight? Because now this knight is controlling the g8 square. And now you all will see the difference. If the king comes to f8, we just have queen f7 as a checkmate. So the king has to go to the corner to save himself. And now comes your move queen g8. As you see, the knight is now defending this g8 square. So the black king cannot capture. So black is forced to capture with the rook or the knight. It does not really make a difference. We have knight f7 and a smothered mate. Now it's puzzle time. So I have 3 positions for you guys. The first position is actually from a game of the great Paul Morphy, and he's playing the white pieces. So white to play and win the game. It's actually a smothered mate, which you have to make happen. Position number 2 is a back rank checkmate, and it is black to play and win. And position number 3 is the Anastasia's mate, again black to play and win the game. You can post all the 3 answers in the comment section below and we'll definitely check your answers. See you in the next video with the next checkmate pattern video. Bye-bye.